Hello, this is Dr. Kelly Donahoe here with drkellydonahoe.com. Today I want to do something a little different. I'm having one of those days where you do all the things, and I thought to myself, I planned on doing a video today. And I thought to myself, today's not the day. Look at this hair. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to do it because, as we all know, many things on social media are just really curated, right? And they're perfect. And you know what? Sometimes I like that. I love art. I love beauty. Sometimes I like to look at things and be pleased by what I'm looking at. And then other times I'm aware of the fact that that may not make us as human beings feel good. And maybe it would be nice to see some realness on this day, like today. I'm going to share that with you. Let's all begin with the fact that I clearly haven't brushed my hair yet today. And right now it is midday where I live, and I've gone several places. And I intend to go some more places before the day is through, and I'm not seeing hairbrushing in my future. So today's one of those days where you do a lot of activities that you have to do because you're a functioning grown-up. And you might feel on those days sort of what I would call existential angst. What am I doing? Is this what my life is? Why am I here? What's the purpose of all this? And so I want to give you a couple tips for that, and also just talk about my own experience a little bit and how I apply those. I think as well as the curated idea for social media, that therapists or psychologists or people that are sort of put themselves out there as experts in their field or mental health, you might think that we kind of have this thing together, but we're humans and nobody really does. So what I'm doing right now is some cooking, which is something that I love to do. And depression has kind of always been a friend of mine, somebody that's hung out with me. And when I had both of our children, I had postpartum pretty badly. And before that time, so about 7 years ago, I had a lot of interest in cooking. I loved it and I was really into it. And so I still read cookbooks all the time, and I'm trying to really get back into it. I'm enjoying it and I'm turning back into myself. And so what I did last night, hold on, I'm going to move it around for it because I got to get some salt. So last night, I poached some chicken. And I did something I've never done before. So I don't know if you guys have seen this Julia Child. Okay, so many people are aware of Mastering the Art of French Cooking Volume 1. That's sort of the classic tome. If you want to learn how to cook, please go pick it up and just read it for enjoyment. I read it. I love it so much. This is Volume 2, and they sort of ditched the third lady, and it's just Julia Child and Simone Beck. It's a beautiful, lovely book, and it's just a passion project, right? She already had the first book published. So I'm reading it yesterday, and I've been reading it, and it keeps talking about it's sort of fortifying poaches. So I poached chicken, garlic, and chicken broth, and a little bit of wine. Then I threw in escarole that I had kind of for that purpose, and then some chopped up cherry tomatoes. I don't like cherry tomatoes whole unless they're cooked because they explode in my mouth, and some people love that, but I don't. So then I saved the rest for today. Also, when you're cooking for one or two, because my kids don't eat that, then you generally have leftovers. And so I've been looking forward to this chicken salad all day. Which brings me to point number 1. On days when you are having an existential crisis, when you wake up at 6 a.m. after a night of poor sleep because your puppy was sick, and you have to clean up carpets from bodily fluids, and then you find out that one of your children may have had a difficulty, so then you got to clean all the bed sheets. Then you come downstairs and see another bodily mess, and all you feel like is you're doing puke and poop and pee, and then you get to go and get blood work. This is my morning. And what else did I do? Oh, I had to do an oil change today for my car that I love so much. I love to take care of that car. And then it's a mama-mobile, don't get excited. And what else did I do? Oh, and this afternoon I get to go to the dermatologist, and I'm setting up my online courses, which is very important. But on a day when you feel like you're doing a lot of tasks and some of them are kind of gross, here are things that you can do. We all have these days, right? So step number 1, and the reason I'm talking about food is because I love food. And even when I have anhedonia or the feeling of losing interest in things you love, that's just a fancy way of calling losing interest in doing things you love, there's usually some couple things that you can find joy in, right? So in the depth of my postpartum depression, I could find pleasure in going for a walk. That was actually, when I say one of it, that meant it had been the thing that I knew if I could get the baby strapped up. I had 2 winter babies in Pennsylvania, so if I could get the baby strapped up and we could get all wrapped up and I could get the dogs and we could get outside, literally that first second outside, I could breathe. Even if it was freezing cold, I like the cold, but even if it was freezing cold, I'm a person. And just remembering that for those couple minutes, or when I walked, I could feel centered and whole. And so tip 1 on existential crisis day, try to find anything that you find enjoyable. For me, it was making this salad. I made a hard-boiled egg real quick. I have my favorite kind of lettuce that I like. And again, those chopped up tomatoes. I turned that awesome chicken, I just chopped it up and mixed it with mayonnaise. And here I have this, I'm going to enjoy it so much. And I have my favorite Earl Grey iced tea that I like to make. And so I'm going to sit and enjoy this. And that will help me bring this day together. Also, always gratitude. Gratitude always. I'm not trying to be Sally Sue Sunshine Pants, but gratitude does help. There's actually science about how sort of reframing how you're seeing things. Yay, I have to clean up poop. Also, I have a laundry machine. Don't need to, do it any other way. And I have water that runs, etc. So I know that can sound a little Pollyanna-ish or sunshiny, but it does work, and I do try to do it. I feel lucky I got to get blood work taken because I have, insurance. So, okay. So I sorted 2 there, right? 1 is try to find anything you can find joy in. Do it. For me, it's eating and cooking. 2, gratitude. And 3, if you're having a little bit of an existential crisis, a mantra helps. So I have several mantras. Sometimes I think people think you just should have one. I have some for when I feel anxious, and here they are. They're very useful, and there's a lot of reasons for that. I don't want to get into the science behind it right now, but we do have a fair amount of science about how mantras can help us calm down and get rid of that cortisol, and also to feel centered and whole, which is right kind of what we're doing here. So for me, a mantra on a day like today is step by step, right? All these steps lead up to something, right? I'm putting building blocks and I'm building buildings, and then I'll have a city. So today when I'm feeling like, oh my goodness, yeah, I cleaned up all the poop and the pee and I haven't brushed my hair and I had to do things I don't like to do. And and I get to go to the dermatologist later because, that's something that you have to do. I just enjoyed the last 8 minutes with you, and I thank you for that. And I will enjoy the next few moments eating my beautiful salad. And I wish for you, even on existential crisis days, some joy, some gratitude, and some peace. Yeah. So here it is for you, this uncurated Instagram moment from me to you. I hope you have a great day.